Everyone in the compound believed the old landlord hated his only son. Imagine living in your father's house, yet paying rent every single year like every other tenant. People laughed at him, some pitied him, others called the old man wicked. But after the landlord died, a single letter revealed the truth, and everyone who had judged him wished they had never spoken. My name is Caleb, and this is the story that changed the way an entire town understood love, discipline, and responsibility. I grew up in a quiet town where everyone knew everyone. At the center of the town stood a block of 12 flats owned by my father, Mr. Benson. He wasn't the richest man around, but he had worked for decades to build those houses. People respected him, but they were also afraid of him. My father believed in rules. Rent had to be paid on time. The compound had to be kept clean. No loud music late at night. No fighting. No excuses. He treated every tenant the same. What shocked everyone was that he treated me exactly the same way. The day I finished my national diploma and returned home, many people assumed my father would simply hand me one of the flats to live in free of charge. Instead, he handed me a tenancy agreement. "You'll occupy flat 6, he said calmly. "Read it carefully before you sign." I looked at him in disbelief. "Rent?" I asked. He nodded. "The same amount every other tenant pays." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I signed the agreement and moved into the flat. From that day on, I became a tenant in my own father's compound. Every year, I paid rent. When business was slow and I struggled to raise the money, my father never reduced it by a single naira. The tenants noticed. Whenever they gathered outside in the evenings, they whispered, "What kind of father collects rent from his own son?" Maybe the boy offended him. I heard they don't even eat together. People created stories they knew nothing about. One afternoon, my neighbor, Mama Esther, knocked on my door with a plate of jollof rice. "My son," she said softly, "eat something. You shouldn't suffer like this." I smiled and thanked her, but I never spoke badly about my father. The truth was, I didn't understand him either. There were days I became angry. There were nights I questioned whether he truly loved me. Sometimes I wanted to pack my belongings and leave the compound forever. But each time I confronted him, he gave me the same answer. "One day you'll understand." Nothing more. Years passed. I worked hard. Some months I paid my rent comfortably. Other months I borrowed money just to meet the deadline. Once, I was 5 days late. My father slipped a reminder under my door. It was the same notice every defaulting tenant received. No special treatment. I felt humiliated. That evening I walked to his house. "Dad," I said, trying to control my emotions, "am I your son or just another tenant?" He looked at me for a long moment before replying, "You are my son. That's exactly why I refuse to make life too easy for you." I left even more confused. The tenants shook their heads whenever they saw us. Many believed I would leave the compound after my father's death and never look back. Then, one rainy morning, my father fell seriously ill. Within a few weeks, he passed away. The entire town came for his burial. After the funeral, relatives filled the family house. Some discussed who would inherit the buildings. Others wondered how quickly I would begin collecting rent from the tenants. A few even said, "At least now he'll finally enjoy living for free." They had no idea what was coming. 3 days later, the family lawyer invited everyone to the sitting room for the reading of my father's will. The room was silent. The lawyer adjusted his glasses and unfolded a handwritten letter. He said, "Mr. Benson asked that this part be read before anything else." He began, "My dear son, if you are hearing these words, then my time has come to an end. There is something I never told you because some lessons must be lived before they can be understood." I felt my heart racing. The lawyer continued, "Many people believed I collected rent because I loved money. They were wrong. I collected your rent because I wanted you to understand what every tenant feels. I wanted you to know the weight of responsibility, the pressure of deadlines, and the value of keeping your word." Everyone in the room became quiet. Even those who had criticized my father lowered their heads. Then the lawyer reached the final page. "There is one more thing you do not know. Every rent payment you ever made has been kept in a separate investment account. I have never spent 1 naira of it." The room filled with murmurs. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The lawyer placed a folder on the table. Inside were bank statements covering years of deposits and investments. With the accumulated interest, the amount had grown into enough money to renovate the entire compound. I couldn't hold back my tears. The lawyer read my father's final words. "A man who has never carried responsibility will destroy an inheritance. Before I left you property, I wanted to leave you character. Protect both." For several minutes, nobody spoke. The same tenants who had called my father wicked now understood what he had been doing all those years. He had not been punishing me. He had been preparing me. Months later, I used the money exactly as my father had hoped. The leaking roofs were repaired. Broken pipes were replaced. The compound was painted. I improved security and installed better lighting. I also introduced a policy that elderly tenants who genuinely struggled could pay in smaller installments without losing their homes. Whenever anyone thanked me, I remembered my father's letter. Today, when young parents ask me how to raise responsible children, I don't tell them to make life difficult for their children. I simply tell them this: love is not measured by how many problems you remove from someone's path. Sometimes, love is preparing someone to face life's challenges long before you are gone. My father didn't leave me millions overnight. He left me something even greater. He left me the kind of character that no amount of money can buy. And that has become the greatest inheritance of my life.